Excuse me, sir. You there? Would you like to game? Then game we shall.
Hey everybody and happy holidays. I apologize for the lack of videos recently. However, because of the time of year, I've been pretty busy, as I'm sure you can all understand. So, I'm going to be talking about the Monk class today in PTR 212. I'm actually pretty excited to talk about the Monk class simply because they've been so ignored for so long in D3. I do not main a Monk at all, I never have, but my heart goes out to Monk players because they have been struggling and wanting some decent changes for quite some time. So, let's talk about the build and the gear and how this setup works. So, there has been two changes to the Sun Wukong set so far in the PTR 212. The changes are pretty similar. However, in the original change, it said casting Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, or Wave of Light causes a decoy to spawn that taunts nearby enemies that explode for 1000% weapon damage. That was the change that occurred previously as well. That has actually stayed the same. However, the 4 set was changed just recently, and it said whenever your decoys deal damage, you would get a damage increase by 500% for your Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, and Wave of Light. Now, it just says when your decoys explode. So the difference between those two is simply that whenever you spawn a decoy and it explodes, whether it hits something or not, you're going to get the 500% damage increase. And this is fantastic. This build works great because of that. So I'm going to be showing you how this build works here in a second. So I'm actually running the helm, the shoulder, the gloves, and I'm using the Ring of the Royal Grandeur to get the 4 set bonus. Ideally, you probably would want to get the amulet, which, by the way, the amulet did have a change to it as well. Now it's guaranteed to always roll with the socket. This makes the amulet a lot more viable and much more sought after, and it can become a really good item for you. If you rolled something similar to this Ouroboros, it would be an amazing amulet. And if you guys don't know yet, Lightning is pretty superior right now, in my opinion, when it comes to the Monk builds. I've seen some Monks doing Greater Rift 47-ish area, like 45 to 47, and they're running the two-hander with the Lightning build, and they just spam Wave of Light and do the Lightning Pillar. I'm also running a Lightning build, however, and I'm using 2 one-handers, and this build and setup is actually really good at clearing T6 super fast. So let's get into it, guys. I'm using the 3 set of Sun Wukong's, like I said. Ideally on the helmet, you would like crit chance with open socket, and ideally on the gloves, you'd probably want to get cooldown with crit chance, crit damage. I'm just using what I have provided. My gear is nowhere near perfect or super good on my Monk, but it does really good, and I'll show you that here in a sec. And like I said, you'd want the Sun Wukong's amulet if you can get it. That way you can use Eye of the Storm helmet and get 30% more lightning there. Using the Alkild's chest and bracers. Using the Son of Jordan with lightning, crit chance, and elite damage on it. Open socket. Using the Ring of Royal Grandeur with dex, attack speed, critical hit damage, open socket. You can use the Witching Hour if you'd like. I'm just using Thunder God's Vigor because you do get damage bonus from it. And you also get a pretty decent amount of all resist and durability. On my weapons, guys, I'm using the Sunkeeper, and I'm using the Wan Kim Lao. You want to put the one-hand weapon that has the highest average damage in your main hand, since all your damage will calculate from that. I'm using whatever boots because I was playtesting, and they were there, so whatever. And then for the pants, guys, I'm using Depth Diggers, and I have the 98% on that, which I'm actually using Deadly Reach, so it's pretty decent. It works out well for that. For the legendary gems, guys, I'm using the Bane of the Powerful, Wreath of Lightning, and the Bane of the Trapped. And let's get into the skills. So on the left click, guys, I'm using Deadly Reach, like I said. With Scattered Blows, this is a really decent AoE, and it generates 12 spirit per attack, which is really nice. On my right click, guys, I'm using Dash and Strike with Quicksilver. This is your mobility. It lets you jump around, and it does lightning damage as well. So, on top of being able to stack lightning damage, this will actually give you a little more damage out of this too. On my one key, guys, I'm using Cyclone Strike with Eye of the Storm. This is really good because the spirit cost is greatly reduced, so you can spam this a lot more, allowing you to proc a lot of clones, and also proccing and increasing the damage on your Cyclone Strike and other abilities. I'm using Exploding Palm on my 2 key, and I'm using the Shocking Grasp. This thing is awesome. They kind of brought back the Exploding Palm, like I was saying, and it's not going to be anywhere near as good for running Greater Rifts. However, for clearing T6, this is an awesome ability. So whenever you throw Exploding Palm arcs up to 15 yards to another target nearby enemy. So this is really cool. You throw one Exploding Palm and you get 2 more or less for it. On my 3 key, guys, I'm using Mantra of Conviction. You could use anything you want here if you want to use some damage mitigation, shielding, whatever you would like, all resist. I just chose to go with damage because I live just fine, usually. Especially when I'm running on the 4 key here, Epiphany with Desert Shroud, making you take 50% less damage. For passives, I'm using Transcendence to gain life per spirit spent. Beacon of Yitar for 20% cooldown. Mythic Rhythm, every third hit from a spirit generator increases the damage of your next damaging spirit spender by 40%, so you can hit 3 times with your spirit generator here, and then you can proc and throw an Exploding Palm and get 40% more damage on it. That's pretty nice. And then I'm using Chant of Resonance, and this just allows you to get a little bit more spirit regeneration and reduces the cost of spamming mantras so I can keep my damage up more consistently. So, without further ado, let's get some gameplay going. Now, I'm just going to show you this damage you can do just with the exploding bomb. I'm not going to proc any extra monsters or anything like that, so check this out. And there you have it. That was just one Cyclone Strike and 2 exploding bombs. So what happens is that clone's going to spawn, and it's going to pop, and it's going to proc the damage and make your exploding bomb do a lot more damage. So you don't even have to hit an enemy with the clone, so watch this. And you can see what kind of bleed damage it does. It's pretty decent. Yeah, I got the Wreath of Lightning going. So 1, 2, 3, pull, boom. See that? 1, 2, 3, pull, boom. So as long as you do it right, Mythic Rhythm is actually a pretty decent skill. You don't have to do it, but it does make the exploding bomb damage pretty extraordinary. The thing is I could be using the Fist of Asterisk. I actually haven't tried it yet. I do have one, but I was like, you know, I'm kind of just smacking through stuff as is, so do I really need to go up the damage even more? Here you can see that Wreath of Lightning in action whenever it procs. Helps you proc extra damage, lets you proc the exploding bomb a lot more often. And the AoE is really good. It's really useful. If you guys haven't tried this build out yet, it's a lot of fun. It's really good, and I can see this being very T6 viable and very efficient at farming. So, as always guys, I hope you like my videos. If you like, please comment, subscribe. Everybody be safe on the holidays, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.